in those Sanskrit shlokas says Varnya. Varnya means it's really good for skin. It's really good for skin disorders. It gives you a beauty. It gives you a saundarya. Saundarya means it gives you glow on the skin. So it's various way you can use that Haridra on the skin disorders. It also says meha means prameha means diabetes. So it takes care of diabetes. It also says it's shotha. Shotha means swelling. Pandu means anemia. So you can use this on anemia. You can use that to reduce the inflammation on the body. And also vranapaha means if you have any injury, even open injuries, it will be healing to the injury.
Namaste, hello, and welcome to Gaia Ayurveda, reconnecting with nature through Ayurveda. I'm Fern Hales, an Ayurvedic practitioner, herbal yogi, and holistic health coach. Gaia Ayurveda is a holistic health community with an aim to guide and empower you on your healing journey. This YouTube channel aims to share earth wisdom, nature intuition, and 5-element healing based on the ancient science of Ayurveda. Listen to our interviews with inspiring guests on topics from health, nutrition, and herbalism to yoga, meditation, and psychology. We discuss root cause healing, natural detoxing, and all things related to high vibrational health and body-mind-soul balance. Each episode is available on YouTube as well as your favorite podcast apps. Further information and details shared in the video can be found in the video description, as well as links to sign up to my weekly newsletter on Ayurveda, herbalism, nutrition, and natural detoxing with medicinals. So, sit back and relax with your herbal infusion, and let's jump right into this week's conversation. In this episode, we are talking to Dr. Priya Punjabi about the health benefits of turmeric, or Curcuma longa as it's known in Latin, from an Ayurvedic perspective. Dr. Priya Punjabi is an Ayurvedic doctor and has been practicing Ayurveda internationally for the past 40 years. As a medical doctor, she works with her clients both online and in person, incorporating diet plans, lifestyle recommendations, herbal remedies, and detox programs, with a particular focus on fertility. Today we are looking at turmeric, also known as Haridra in Sanskrit, which is a herb from the Zingiberaceae family, or ginger family, and a remedy that is extensively used in Ayurveda in many different herbal medicines and formulas, with applications both internally and externally. So, without further ado, let's dive into the conversation.
So, hello and welcome back to Gaia Ayurveda. Today we have with us Dr. Priya Punjabi, and today we're going to be speaking together about the health benefits of turmeric. So, welcome, Dr. Priya Punjabi. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you very much. Namaste. And it was my pleasure. My pleasure. I really enjoy talking to you. You are a lovely person.
Likewise. And I'm so grateful that you could come and honor us today to talk about turmeric. So if you don't mind, would you just like to explain a bit to listeners about yourself and your practice and your journey with Ayurveda?
My practice and Ayurvedic journey is very big. My age is almost touching 60. And out of 60, 40 years I have spent with my Ayurveda. So 1982, I started studying Ayurveda. And it finished in 1989. It was 6.5 years graduation doctorate degree from Pune University, which is I will say Tilak Ayurveda is a very big university where all the many books you must be reading on Ayurveda. All the writers from Dr. Subhash Ranade to Guru Paranspe, Yoga Joshi, many big writers, they were my gurus. They were my teachers. Wow. So I studied for 6.5 years, 7 years. And along the time when I was studying, I was also working in various different hospitals to gain the practical experience. So in India, when you are studying Ayurveda, you get that approached and exposure to as a medical doctors. So we used to work in different hospitals as a residence medical officers. So 82 to 89, studying and learning practical experiences from various different hospitals. From 89 on, worked as a medical officers in different hospitals in Mumbai. I was working as an ICC officer, so that I got various experiences, practical hands-on experiences in intensive care units. Learn lots of, gain the knowledge, practical knowledge, and then finally in 1995 I started my own practice in Mumbai. And from there, I think 6-7 years I was there, but 2002 I migrated to New Zealand. And my actual journey of New Zealand was very amazing, very nice experience. 2002, first few years I was teaching in Ayurvedic college. I did tertiary teaching, so I was creating courses up to diploma. I was head of faculty in Velpak College, which is the only college that time offering the Ayurvedic courses up to diploma. So I did that, educational, background, and then eventually set up a big Panchakarma center. So 21 years in New Zealand, gained lots of patients, faith, confidence, with many testimonial success stories in fertility, skin care. In my 40 years, I have seen more and more results in fertility. So people, was always trying Ayurvedic modality for trying to conceive, whether it is female issues or male issues. Both the sides I have seen amazing results. I will always encourage everybody, if you have these issues, you must try Ayurveda.
Yes.
And then skincare, definitely the vitiligo, psoriasis, eczema, amazing, very good results. So that way, the practical and everything, whatever the knowledge was, we achieved in degree, then seeing the actual patients, then utilizing that into the, on the patients with Ayurvedic various remedies. And yeah, here we are. Keep going with Ayurveda, spreading the knowledge.
So thank you for that. Yes. So wow, what an experience, and what a lifetime of from the education and also the Western medical approach, merging it with the Ayurvedic historical approach of the old ancient texts, the old gurus, and this knowledge that's been passed down through many generations, and then applied to the field and through this practical knowledge. It's very holistic.
My way of practice was always different. Like I never did the absolutely traditional way of Ayurvedic practice. I was doing medical Ayurveda. Like I used to always respect any investigations, any blood test, whether it is X-ray, MRI, CT scan, ultrasounds. If it is required, I used to highly recommend patients to go for it. Only treatment part, I was focusing on diet and lifestyle and the herbal remedies. So it was like a medical Ayurveda. So I believed in Ayurvedic complete, because those 5,000 years back, these blood tests, MRI, CT scan was not there. So the pulse diagnosis and Tridosha analysis and everything, that is fine. But today, if any investigations are available, I will always utilize that for diagnosis tool. And then treatment part, I will take it with the 100% Ayurvedic way.
Yes, I think any complementary knowledge, really one of the main things about Ayurveda is getting to the root cause, So anything that's complementary to allow you to analyze and get to the root cause of an imbalance or illness, I think is key. But yes, I discovered, so Dr. Priya Punjabi, we connected basically from an interview that I saw that she was talking about turmeric during her time in New Zealand. So today, we wanted to talk a bit about the health benefits of turmeric, but just since you mentioned that your specialization is in fertility, but also skin disorders, I just wanted to point out and maybe underline for listeners that Ayurvedic herbs and medicine, they serve as almost as a complementary treatment, but the basis really is to heal the digestive system, and that can be also carried out with food. And even for something like fertility, the basis is really healing the digestive system, which so even something like turmeric you could potentially use in certain cases. But maybe we could talk just a little bit about turmeric. So in general, just to give listeners a bit of an understanding of the properties from the Ayurvedic perspective. So generally in Ayurveda, every plant is analyzed according to its properties. So we have the taste, the rasa, vipaka, the post-digestive effect, virya, the energy, and the the action, so the karma and the gunas, which are certain qualities. And based on this information, it allows the practitioner to apply this knowledge based on the certain cases of the doshas and imbalances. So would you be able to just speak to us a little bit about the properties of turmeric?
Yeah, turmeric in Ayurveda is called Haridra.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you are talking about Ayurvedic properties, very interesting, very good shloka I would love to read and explain that how the turmeric's properties are actually written in traditional Ayurvedic, which are like a 5,000 years back.
Wow.
And today we are seeing lots of research and, actual medicinal values of the turmeric, but this is written that many years before. So this one particular shloka, I would love to, say, which will explain the rasa, virya, vipak, gunas, actions of the Haridra. So Haridra, katuka, tikta, ruksha, ushna. Katu, tikta, ruksha, ushna, kapha, pitta, nuta. Varnya, Tvag dosha, mehastra, shotha, pandu, vrana, apaha. Means Haridra, turmeric properties, they are saying katu, tikta, ruksha, ushna. So in Ayurveda, they have given the 6 taste. Madhur, amla, lavan, katu, tikta, kashaya. So katu and tikta, these are the 2 tastes of Haridra. Ruksha means dryness. Ushna means it's a hot potency. So these are the properties. Because of that, this particular Haridra, turmeric, becomes kapha, pitta, dosha, nasha. Yeah. So it's actual tridoshic action, you can say, but depending on how you use it. So it's very important how and what form you're using the Haridra. And this particular Haridra in those Sanskrit shloka says Varnya. Varnya means it's really good for skin. It's really good for skin disorders. It gives you a beauty. It gives you a saundarya. Saundarya means it gives you glow on the skin. So it's various way you can use that Haridra on the skin disorders. It also says Meha means Prameha means diabetes. So it takes care of diabetes. It also says it's Shotha. Shotha means swelling. Pandu means anemia. So you can use this on anemia. You can use that to reduce the inflammation on the body. And also Vranapaha means if you have any injury, even open injuries, it will be healing to the injuries. So this is the Sanskrit explanation written that many years back in Ayurveda. So when we are talking about Haridra, Haridra has many medicinal values. So you can use turmeric as crumigna, means you can use that as a deworming. You can use that as it's a very good antioxidant. It's very good for digestion. It reduces the inflammation, whether it is a joints inflammation or muscular inflammation. That's why when you see traditionally in every Indian house, even today, if you fall, if there is any injury, they will take a turmeric, put it in the ghee, and they will apply. If it is an open wound, if it is just like a blunt injury, they will take turmeric, make a paste, and they will apply on that particular joint, on that muscle to reduce the inflammation. They will give you turmeric in the milk to drink it to reduce the pain factor. So turmeric has many medicinal values, which is proven today because it's curcumin, which we are talking about, and they use curcumin in many medicines also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's when we are talking about turmeric, we have to classify that as a local application, how you can use turmeric. Now, you know how the Indian weddings, traditionally, they have the haldi as a ceremony. So 2 days before, 3 days before the wedding, they have how they have a henna ceremony. They also have a haldi ceremony. What is haldi ceremony? they create a lots of, sandalwood, saffron, turmeric, pastes into the multani mitti or something in the milk, and they apply all over the body of the groom and the bride to give the glow to the person, so that after 3 days, when the actual wedding is there, the beauty comes out. So that is the external use of the turmeric as a beauty. So many beauty products you must be knowing, right?
Yes, I've heard this. When I was learning this, it was amazing how women, in particular, we were learning, they cover their bodies in turmeric, before the wedding. And for me, I guess it makes me think. So if we just look at the, obviously we've said the Sanskrit terms, so the taste being bitter and pungent, and then the energy being hot in potency, and the post-digestive effect being pungent again. So as you said, this is tridoshic based on how you use it, but really balancing for pitta and kapha. And as you said, things of the skin. So for me, I was just thinking about the doshas and how obviously pitta, being mainly fire and water, made of the fire and water elements, really pertains to the skin, brajaka pitta. So it's also very interesting how the color of turmeric and the yellow of turmeric almost pertains to the pitta, the fire of pitta, and really balancing the skin. And I think the ancients, they knew this, the ancient rishis and wise medicine men and women of the time, they really knew this. And that brings me onto my next question. So I know we've briefly spoken about the doshas, but so for you, how do you think you could treat?
Very important. Although turmeric is balancing tridosha, but if you use it in excess, it will aggravate pitta, because it's a ushna, it's a fire. So it's very important to know how you are drinking, how you are using the turmeric. Otherwise, it will be gastroirritant also. So there are many side effects also. So whoever is using turmeric should know how to use it. And that way the dosha balance, which is the achievement, if you want to achieve for kapha dosha balancing or this thing. So because it's again ruksha means dryness. So if it is misused in a different way, it will aggravate vata. So it's important to use it wisely, and how much quantity and those sort of things. So we'll talk about that.
Yes, and that's such a perfect point that you brought up, because I mean, this is why it's so important, I think, to go to an Ayurvedic practitioner, an Ayurvedic doctor, because really, I think in the world, there's certain herbal medicines and herbal supplements that have become really famous and really trendy. And really, this is what the beauty of Ayurveda is. It's so aligned to the seasons, it's aligned to the day, it's aligned to the dosha, what elements are dominant in your body, your natural constitution, your biocharacteristics, plus your imbalance. So, and even the time of the day. So maybe to treat one specific thing and one specific person, you might use Haridra or turmeric in the morning, maybe combined with milk, for more of a pitta prakruti or imbalance. So to balance the heat of the hot potency of the medicine. So this is what is so fascinating. And I wanted to ask you as well. So how do you think you could give us some different examples of how turmeric can be used to treat the different doshas? For example, vata, pitta, and kapha.
See, kapha person can easily take turmeric because it's nicely ruksha, ushna, katu, tikta. So it will reduce the kapha. It's really good detoxifying. It reduces the weight, also purifies the blood, which we already say that. So kapha people, very easy to take the turmeric. They can take turmeric in warm water, even hot water. Remember, the proportion has to be 1:20. That's why when you use in the curries in Indian cooking, we use little bit. You can't just take turmeric in a 2 tablespoons and something like, no, it has to be proportion. If you're taking in chai latte or you are taking in the milk, 1:20 is the proportion. So if you're taking 50 ml, remember how much you will be taking this thing. So it's always a small proportion. That again, which form you're taking? Are you taking turmeric in the rhizomes? You're taking turmeric as a powder. Because you do get the dry rhizomes, you get wet rhizomes, and then you get a powder. So how you're using it. And best way to take the turmeric is always warm drink. Hot, like a food has a hot, but you can put it in the rice. You can put it in the different various chapatis. If you are making curries, we always, without turmeric, not normally no curries are made. And then if you're using the fresh rhizomes, like how you get the ginger roots, you get a turmeric roots. So then turmeric roots, if you're making a juice, it will be only 5 ml or 10 ml, depending on what you're mixing. Normally, we say it is good to mix in amla juice, guruchi. So what juice you are mixing and what purpose you are taking. If you're taking that as a diabetes, put lower the sugar level, then it is really good into amla, guruchi. Because then there is a synergetic effect of two herbs working together. But if you are taking only for skin and the blood purification, iron levels, then you can just add that into ghee. You can add that into milk if you are just wanting that as a anti-inflammatory or arthritis purpose. Many old age people, I always recommend them. Then it is in the hot milk. So take that either powder form in the hot milk. In many Ayurvedic medicines like a Haridra Ghrutam, Haridra Khanda, it's like a granules form, like how Shatavari Kalpa, Haridra Kalpas are available. So we use as if I have to give Haridra as a medicine, instead of giving in the capsule form, like a mini curcumin capsules you will see in the market. But how to consume that capsule is important, because in Ayurveda, Pravahi means how the medicine, that herb is going to get absorbed in the body. Because it's a ruksh, means it's a dry. So if you are taking dry something and it is not getting absorbed, the first sign of wrong taking of any herb is constipation. If you are not taking properly, you will see that. So it's important how much and which form and what purpose. And accordingly, and as you already mentioned, season. You already mentioned about Prakriti, which person is taking for what purpose. So if you have to give it to the newborn children, normally I don't give any medicine up to the 5 years of the baby, unless it is very important. But if you are giving to the baby, small children, then it has to be in the milk or ghee.
Very small, yes.
Very small. And yeah, it's important to understand whom we are giving. If you are giving to the elderly person who's already constipated, so then you need to make sure this is improving the digestion, absorption, and the dryness is not affecting the vata dosha also of that person. So that's the reason Ayurvedic practitioners comes in the picture, because every herb is good. There's no side effects, we say that. But then there is an effect on everything. Like I was researching today about, and there are some situations which is proven that if you already have liver cirrhosis, liver disease, you need to take curcumin in the, like a very minimal or no, because it has given side effects on the liver. That was one of the research I was reading. So we say it is very good for many, many good things, but then we need to also know the history of the patient.
And as you said, maybe in this case, I don't know if it was an Ayurvedic study or if it was just a Western medical study, but I think in this case, no, it depends, because if you have this real pitta imbalance, which is affecting the liver, or if maybe you have like toxins around the liver or heavy metals or something, and you're giving a very hot potency medicine, as you said, you might need to combine it with ghee or combine it with an oil. Ghee obviously having a cooling effect as well, so it complements the hotness of the and the dryness of the quality of the turmeric. So I guess maybe in this case it could be used, but in a different formula or in a different combination. And yeah, it was super interesting everything you were saying, and I wanted to just explain a little bit to listeners, because this happened to me and it took me a long time also to get my head around this, but it's like and I always forget to kind of go back to the basis and make it digestible and bite-sized for people listening. But it's Ayurveda is all about balance. So the word it means life science. So it's literally a science of life, but how to live in balance. And the basis are the elements, but also these gunas, these qualities. So if you have like as we're talking about ruksha, this rough, dry quality, if someone has, say, a vata imbalance, which is air, space, dryness in the body, nervous system disorders, you don't want to give more of this dry, rough quality. So it's all about balance, and it's all about an experience-based kind of analysis for the practitioner and the doctor to be able to advise what complementary medicine or herb should go in a particular form or for a particular person. So this is why we're talking so in depth about this, and it's in every single case is different, because as they recognize in Ayurveda, every single person is a unique universe in a way, no? And
yeah, see, it's very important actually you raise that. So I'll again give some warning here. If anybody is on blood thinners, like many people are taking some blood thinners for various different purposes, turmeric is not advisable for those people, because although it is good to various different way, but because it's a gastroirritant, and if you are taking already blood thinners, so your inner linings of the intestines and blood vessels and everything, so you have to keep it in mind. Turmeric is ushna, hot potency. So such people we have to. So it's very important to know what different medication they are taking. You mentioned about nervous system, but turmeric is good for Alzheimer's, which is the recent research. So we are not talking negative about turmeric for your nervous system. How to take it, whom to give, what are the other medications that person is taking, everything keeping in the picture, and then taking the advice from this thing. Very interesting actually. Here I will explain you one of the case which I remember top of my head. One of the patient was, he came to me with ulcers and gastric bleedings. And he said, everything I tried, nothing is helping, blah, blah, blah. And then while taking the history, he was taking empty stomach garlic for since last 5 years. And I said, who advised? No, I have to take that 6 cloves of garlic every day in the morning. I said, you are bleeding. You're having gastric bleeding. And you're talking about this and you have to stop it. No, but it's helping me. I said, it's not helping you. You maybe initially what the mindset was fixed that it is helping me, but can't you see it's a gastric irritant? Garlic is good. Many people are taking garlic, but you are taking garlic empty stomach, and that has caused this bleeding. So instead of taking so many medication and ulcerative colitis and every other diagnosis was given to him, but the GP, the doctor, forgot to ask him his routine, and his routine was taking garlic every morning. And I simply stopped that. And I gave him everything pitta pacifying, and he became all right.
Yes, because obviously garlic is pitta increasing, especially in that quantity, I mean, to that level. So yes, and as you said, and that brings me to my next question, how turmeric can be used and you briefly discussed it, but as a food and a medicine. So obviously in Ayurveda, there's a large majority or a large basis of the medicines, of the formulas, of the Ayurvedic formulas, which are historic and documented and well studied as well, with a lot of experience and evidence over the many years, and have been written into kind of Ayurvedic and Indian pharmacology. So all this knowledge is based on the spices and herbs and natural medicines, so plant medicines. But obviously in Ayurveda, it's well known that there's a difference between taking some of these herbal medicines as medicine and as food, which obviously have different effects, different impacts for different end results. So maybe you could just briefly discuss that or explain a little bit to listeners the difference between taking turmeric in food and using turmeric as a medicine.
See, turmeric is used in many forms in almost every other Ayurvedic medicine. Because on my shelf here, I will say about 80 to 90 products I've been using since last so many years in the big bulk. And out of that, any product if I'm using for skincare, any product I'm using for iron or liver or detox or weight loss, it will have, even for joints, it will have haldi Daru haldi. There are types of haldis. Like a Daru Haridra is also another herb which is in the similar range, but it's a more stronger for this thing. So the Haridra and Daru Haridra will be everywhere, whether it is a liver detox, liver cleansing, weight loss, blood purification. So many Ayurvedic products we use it, and which has the Haridra as a medicine in that, one of the ingredient, because as you know, Ayurvedic products, one product will have 20 ingredients because it's a synergetic effect. So Haridra, and then it will be balancing, So Haridra is definitely used as a various different multiple traditional formulas for liver and skincare. Even local products like simple Mahanaran oil, which is very common for joints pain and this thing, which will have Haridra, Daru Haridra as an anti-inflammatory, as a one of the ingredient there. Kumkuma Tailam, which is one of the best product for skin care, which is again, which has got turmeric, sandalwood, saffron, various beautiful herbs which are good for glowing the skin, So that has got, so I will say local and internal. Like I have seen one of the expensive product I won't mention that particular doctor who has that product $129 in top-notch shops here, and I was looking at the ingredients and I said, oh my God, this is nothing but Kumkumadi Telam, which is just available for $20. And I said, hey, this product is sold on $160, $170 on the shelf.
Because it's
so the way they market and this thing, but the whole formula ingredients was Kumkumadi Telam. So it's very nice to hear that these traditional formulas, which are written thousands and thousands years ago, are now coming into the, it's a cosmetic brand form. So when you are talking about products, so there are local products, many joints products which you will see, external application, lepas and creams. Haridra will be always there. Any Asava, Arishta syrups, medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, Haridra will be always there if it is a blood purifying syrup, So Haridra will be there. If you see very closely ingredient, you will see Haridra there. So as a medicine, we have been using locally, internally, cosmetic, and then various different forms of tablets. When you are talking about curcumin, on the shelf, even Costco and different shops have the curcumin now. So it is very important how much curcumin, like this is a very common question people always ask. As a medicine, when you are taking curcumin, how much will be the dose per day? So it's only 500 to max 2000, they say, but again, you need to keep it in mind, your clinical feeling. Like when you are actual taking curcumin, 500 milligrams twice a day. If you are feeling okay, keep only 500 twice a day. Unless you are having some reason, that you need that for a particular reason, and then you are taking up to 2000, then you need to keep a tab on your clinical signs. Are you constipated? How's your gastric feeling? How's your digestion? Any, negative signs on the system. So that way you can take a curcumin as a capsule form also. But I always prefer to take Ayurvedic combination than the actual, yeah.
Yes, me too. Normally I just would use the powder, like as it's raw form.
Okay.
And I just wanted to come back to what you have been saying and the word synergy, which is so important. And maybe earlier when I said, that it's tridoshic, and then this is why I wanted to do this and do this podcast and speak to different people about Ayurvedic medicine, but also applying the Ayurvedic principles of herbs to the West and Western herbalism, because it's not black and white, So as we said, okay, it's a pitta purifying herb because of its bitter taste. So even though it's got this hot energy and a pungent potency, but it's got this bitter nature, so it does pacify. But then anything also hot or pungent is really good for balancing the nervous system, as you said. And but it's all about the combination. It's about the synergy and who it's used for and what it's used for and how it's used. But then I wanted to just elaborate on what you were talking about, Kunkumali Thailam, because you can probably complete the list for me. But if I remember rightly, it's got turmeric, I think coconut oil, no?
Wait, the Kumkumadi Tailam has got quite a few ingredients. I have a product, we can talk about that later.
But the fact, and I think it's got saffron even. So the fact that these are being
all of it are pacifying.
They're all pitta pacifying, which is good for the skin. But I just want to underline that even though it seems complicated what we're talking about, and we're saying, oh no, but it's hot, so you have to mix it with this, but then it's dry. But there is a pattern, and there is a structure, and there is like a framework to this. It's just because it's holistic science. It's not black and white. It's not, as you just said, 50 mg of turmeric for this person, or every single person at this time of the day, before meals or after meals. That's why this whole progress and journey that I'm on is to try and explain and go deeper into this knowledge and help people understand this. It's a synergy of the balance of the qualities and the elements and the effects.
Yeah, simply you just mentioned about the Ushna hot potency. That's why it is proven that curcumin, Haridra, haldi, turmeric is really good for depression. So if anybody is depressed, word itself says depressed, and you need that person to get up. So you don't know, so you need something to stimulate, something to nervous system, which gives the person opposite to depression. So it's when you say bringing that person up. So you get normal person also. If it is very dull outside and cloudy and rainy, you get depressed. But if it is sunny, you want to just go out and do some activities. It's a natural body's activities. Nervous system immediately shows that how the things are. So similar, the synergetic effect when you're talking about. So if you want to take turmeric in a right form, early morning taking in warm milk or warm water is good, because empty stomach absorption is good. Because if you're saying Ushna, it's opening the channels. So if the channels are open and you're using with the ghee, using with the hot milk, it gets absorbed. So your systems are opened up, and then because of the qualities of the katu again opens, it dilates. So anything like that's why again Haridra is good for asthma also, because it's a dilatation effect there. So if you are taking in the hot, if you are asthmatic and you want that bronchodilation, you can use Haridra. I'll again give you a very simple example how traditionally they used to use sandalwood, Haridra, and many haldi, daru Haridra, many good plants, roots in the Havana. Havana means the sacred fire. So why the sacred fire? Sacred fire will give some type of herbs in the environment. So environmental effect again will give you that different feeling in the mind, nervous system, inhalation. So not only talking about external application and consumption, we are also talking about how they used to use this haldi, chandan, and the many herbs for havan. Havan means doing the sacred fires. So environmental, even if you are using haldi in the environment, what will happen? It will give the antibacterial, this thing, crumigna means any deworming, any these things are there. Many mosquito repellents, they have haldi as a local ingredient.
I remember when I came to India, my favorite one is neem, I think, and
yeah. So neem and haldi, there's an oil you can apply externally when you go on the trekking and all. You must carry that so that you're applying externally on your skin, so skin doesn't get dry, and any insects, they don't come on your skin to bite. So it's very important how you can use that synergetic effect of Haridra, where to use, how to use, whether you are using as an inhalation, local application, morning time, night time, those sort of thing.
On what you're saying, that's so interesting. It's fascinating, and in what I really love to talk about as well. And I think in Western herbalism and modern herbalism, but there is acknowledgement of this, but how, so we have these physical, almost clinically verified effects of these medicines, like you're saying. It's very antibacterial, it's antifungal, antiparasitical, but also on an energetic level, because, and this is what, when I was in India, and I loved learning about this, you know, how in ancient times they would sterilize like a pot or something by doing a duma, and making a fire of these antibacterial, antiparasitic, all this antifungal, antimicrobial herbs to sterilize, because you are sterilizing the area. So you're not only in this, as you're saying, making a fire, almost a ritualistic practice, you're sterilizing the space. It's like burning sage and Palo Santo, which are very popular nowadays, but you're literally purifying on a physical level the bacteria space, but also on an energetic level the space. And I think our ancestors knew this more. For them, they knew obviously that you could get a bacterial infection or a parasite. They knew these things, or viruses, but they also believed in something more energetic, and not only this physical aspect, which I really like that we're bringing in here. And it brings me on to my next question about the color of turmeric. So we were briefly talking about that today. So I think, Haridra, I was looking into the etymology, and I think in Sanskrit it means yellow. And so do you think there's a link between turmeric and its color in treating pitta imbalances? Because obviously pitta being dominant, the elements of fire and water.
Yeah. So when you talk about pitta, there are 5 subtypes of pitta: pachaka, ranjaka, bhrajaka, alochaka, and sadhaka. So pachaka means digestion. So we are talking about how turmeric helps for digestion. So it's really good. And yellow color with which you're talking, again, it's a color of bile juice. So it's good for digestion. Ranjak itself is the coloration. So yellow color is the coloration. So anything which is colored in the body, the inside the body fluids, that's Ranjaka. Bhrajaka means skin, your skin color. So we already talked about how Haridra turmeric helps for the Bhrajaka Pitta, for your glowing the skin. Okay. And then Alochaka means your eyes. So it's really good for Pitta. Anything which is Pitta pacifying is very good. Chakshusha. Chakshusha means very good for eyes. So it improves your this thing. Anything which is good for iron means it's good for Pitta pacifying, it's good for eyes. So it's good for your Alochaka Pitta. And then the last one is Sadhaka. Sadhaka is in the brain. So when you're taking anything Pitta pacifying, so gray matter in the brain, we are talking about Sadhaka Pitta. So Sadhaka Pitta, it gives you Pitta pacifying effect, means it calms you down. So when you're applying simple yellow lepa on your skin, automatically it calms you down. So it's very important how you can use that yellow coloration of this thing towards the Pitta, and how the Pitta pacifying can help for the beauty and the physical health and mental health.
Yes. But yes, very interesting and pertinent. I mean, as you said, the blood, the digestive system, anti-inflammatory, skin-related issues, fungal infections on a micro level, this antibacterial aspect in terms of purifying the blood as well. So you've also just mentioned earlier on, but maybe we can go into that. So turmeric in Ayurveda has been used for centuries to treat diabetes, prameha. So,
and it's proven now. It has got definitely effect on insulin stimulations and those. If it is type 2 diabetes we are talking about, not type 1. So there are many research you can Google about how turmeric is used and has shown the quantitative and qualitative research on the turmeric and diabetes, type 2 diabetes.
Yes, and I think it's what we said, purifying the blood, regulating the blood sugar levels in the body, helping detoxifying the liver, things, helping the detox pathways open. It's such a really a wonderful overall herb.
Yeah, I'll give you a very simple tip. Anybody who has diabetes, what they can do, they can take turmeric rhizomes, like how the ginger roots come, and then little bit gentle scrape them and make it in the small pieces and put that into a lemon juice. And always keep, you can make it weekly basis also. And every time when you are having your lunch or dinner, take a small piece of turmeric in your first food which you are eating. Nicely chew, let it go inside, and at the end of the food. So both the time, starting at the end and the end, if you are taking that turmeric rhizome, so whatever carbohydrates, diabetic patients, normally I'm talking about carbohydrates, if you are consuming in your diet, so it helps to get the stimulation for pancreas and for insulin, and it's definitely good for your diabetes. We use that in many Ayurvedic existing anti-diabetic medicines. I'm not going to mention that here, but there are well-researched diabetic products which I've been using in my practice since last 30 years. And before and after, I always do HbA1c levels so that I know that what level you started my treatment. This was your HbA1c, and now you are taking the treatment for 90 days. Every 6 weeks, go and get your HbA1c and see whether these particular medicines are helping. Along with medicine, I always give my way of explaining the patient. It's A plus B plus C. So your medicine is one part, but B and C, your diet and lifestyle is also very important. So don't rely only on Ayurvedic medicine. They can give you 40%, 50% effect, but 50% is your diet and lifestyle.
Yes,
so what do you?
I wanted to say that, as you said about eating, the rhizome or the fresh turmeric root, with certain carbohydrates. But then, as you said, the basis of Ayurveda is this balancing
Diet.
food. So really, the food we're eating, and obviously, if you cut out those refined carbohydrates, that white sugar, the white bread, the white pasta, the heavy.
We'll keep one session on diabetes.
Yes. But the main thing, obviously, you can take the turmeric to help digest and help balance the blood sugar levels, but the root is really to cut out where that those high glucose levels are coming from in the first place. So I wanted to talk about we're talking about formulas, combinations. So obviously in Ayurveda, there's a lot of different formulas. There's a lot of different forms of taking medicines. For example, if you've said, capsule form, as a churna, as a powder, as a juice or hot infusion, Fanta. So maybe you could just lightly touch upon that, the different ways of taking turmeric, even though we've touched upon it in other questions, but
see, if you are into home cooking, use turmeric simply as a cooking. That is the first way of taking turmeric. So use it in your cooking every day, which is nice. Then you can use that rhizome. But if you want to take that as a medicine and you are not using daily in the cooking, then taking like 1 gram to 2 grams in hot water or chai latte, or take it in the hot milk. Just take say 50 ml or 100 ml milk and put 1 teaspoon there. So you're using that, But if you're taking as a curcumin, as a capsule, then take it 500 micrograms to the, so maximum twice a day. So if you're using, but it is best way to do is taking Haridra with amla juice, like if you're taking the rhizome juice, then take that 5 ml into amla juice or guruchi if you have availability, then take that this thing, or you make a decoction with guruchi amla. If you're having herbs, if you're having triphala, use triphala and amla together as this thing. So depends on how you are using turmeric. Hot simple rice works very good. When you're boiling the rice, just put 1 teaspoon of rice in that rice bowl. So in a way, it is better to take it in the hot food.
So yes, this is what I wanted to ask as well. So I've learned, that it's better also to heat turmeric So what do you think about that? So while cooking, for example, it is better to cook and not maybe use turmeric right at the beginning to heat it up the whole process, but do heat it a little bit so it is heated, and I guess for the bioavailability and for the better, so it's better digestible as a medicine. And also, as you said, in a hot infusion, for example, I'm not sure.
I think it's heating. Heating is okay. It's I have seen, and it's good for the body. If you're using in the hot food cooking, it's better instead of raw. Instead of raw form, it is better to use it in the cooking way.
So it just brings me to a last couple of questions. So, I mean, we've spoken about seasons and how important the seasons are. Obviously, we have slightly different seasons compared to the seasons in India, even though we are in the northern hemisphere. Obviously, the southern hemisphere is quite different, but you obviously have the monsoon season and we typically in Europe, and the northern hemisphere have 4 seasons. And obviously autumn, spring being big changeover seasons, which can alter vata with the change, the cold weather, the change in temperatures, also kapha and the doshas in general. So do you have any recommendations in terms of using turmeric depending on the seasons, in terms of rutuja?
It's a tridoshik, right? You can use that in every season, but how you're using it. What time of the day you are using it. For example, if you are having already, very hot summer, you're not taking a turmeric drink and going out. No, you will prefer coconut. Yeah, you will prefer coconut or something which is cooling, not pitta aggravating. Your body will automatically say no. But if it is a nice cold outside, winter, nice season, and you feel cold and you're taking chai latte, you're taking turmeric into this thing, your body will want it. So body needs that Ushna Guna according to what is the weather outside. In Ayurveda, one principle remember, always listen to your body. If your body says, I want it, I want it. If you are desiring some, certain food, because body is lacking that. So you have to change the way we change our outfits in winter and in summer. We have to change our food desires and how we are consuming. If you want to, use that into normally, I will say if it is a summer, instead of taking in the drinks, take it as a rhizome in the food. So take that in along with the hot food, put little bit turmeric and then digest. Put it in the ghee and take it. So how that combination you are taking, that is important. Which day, morning you are taking, or afternoon you are taking, or night you are taking, depending on that, you need to change. And your body will tell you whether I need it in a hot drink or cold drink, or I need it into the food. So listen to the body. Listen to the body.
Yeah, your intuition. And I do really agree with that. I do feel though that if you have a big imbalance and maybe you're a bit disconnected from your body because you might have some or toxins in the body that may be stopping your ability to connect with your body and your true hunger and your true digestive kind of power and your digestive system. I do feel that there is maybe an extreme of where you're not really sure what you need, or if you have like a parasite imbalance and your kind of the cremies or bacterial balance, they're craving something that maybe your body doesn't need. So I do definitely believe in that, but I do think your body is very intuitive when it's in more of a balanced state. I think not too imbalanced.
Body gives you the signs and symptoms. If you're feeling aches and pains in the body, I'm not happy with my body, that means you need to do some changes. Instead of just continuing the same routine, same food. No, the body is saying that I'm not happy, and you can notice. And any dosha, whether it is vata, pitta, kapha, when how these doshas are showing the signs. So there is always first accumulation, aggravation, spread, and then taking a location and then exhibiting as a signs and symptoms as a disease. So at the initial stage of accumulation and aggravation, you need to immediately understand, I'm feeling this. So whether it is Vata, Pitta, or Kapha, primary locations will be seen as a signs. And listen to that. Oh, I'm constipated, I'm gassy, I'm having headache. These are the basic signs. But if you neglect them, it will go into the further state. So the disease never happen in one day. It is always a gradual process. So body tells you that these are the signs and you need to listen to the body.
Definitely. Wow. So thank you for all that wonderful wealth of information. So could you just tell us and tell listeners how they could get in touch with you, what you offer in terms of your Ayurvedic practice?
I've been practicing globally now, online only. So my way of practice is first you can visit my website ayurvedic.co.nz. I sent you the slide. So and then you can email me priya@ayurvedic.co.nz, and WhatsApp, Zoom, Skype. So WhatsApp number is also there. You can communicate with me on WhatsApp or from my website. Very simple. If you Google Dr. Priya Punjabi, first 10 web pages will reach to me. Even on YouTube, I've been giving lots of talks and on the radios and TV since last 20 years. So I really love to keep doing this another next 20 years.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And yes, I'll put all the details in the show notes so listeners can get in touch. It was lovely speaking to you and learning about all these wonderful benefits of turmeric. And hopefully we'll be in touch in the future for potential other episodes. So thank you. Enjoy Diwali next few days. And we'll be in touch.
Whenever you visit USA, please come. You have an open invitation.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so bye.